Carson has taken so many hits. He's like, who? Carson Wentz? No, I'm not giving up 11. That might be the biggest insult to this point. Forget about the second round.
Yes. That is a diss.
Michael Pittman putting his foot down.
All right, well, tell us who's the next quarterback to be traded. Is it going to be Sam Darnold? Looks like it.
The Jets are kind of, playing that game where they're going to do their due diligence about quarterbacks and take their time. Ultimately, he's going to go. I mean, that. So it's more of, can you be patient if you're the Chicago Bears and you want Sam Darnold? Can you wait until the draft, or do you get antsy and you go a different direction? So a lot of it depends on these teams that need quarterbacks and how patient they're willing to be, because it's always difficult to be patient. Once you see quarterbacks coming off the board, so to speak, Carson Wentz being the latest, you start to say, who's out there? Marcus Mariota, do you like him? Do you want to give Jameis Winston another chance? Cam Newton? Slim pickings till you get to the draft or the trade market. And you can convince somebody to trade Sam Darnold or pie in the sky Deshaun Watson.
We were talking earlier in the show about Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers. What do you think ends up happening with that situation? Because he's accounts for a lot on their salary cap.
Yeah, he does. And we've seen there's a shift in thinking. The Eagles leading the way about taking on this dead money. That'd be really difficult for Pittsburgh. And let's be honest. I mean, he's done so much for that organization as opposed the shelf life is so much longer. Super Bowl winning quarterback's going to go to the Hall of Fame. So it's much more difficult to make that kind of decision. Ultimately, I think he wants to play. I think the Steelers are going to work something out. I don't see many avenues they can go down.
Well, looking at the entirety of the NFL and free agency that's going on, and with this cap being only $180 million, there are going to be a lot of good free agents that are going to be gone from these teams. And, I was saying to these guys, a lot of these teams that have a lot of money that may have been, bad as far as, their team as a whole will get better real quick with the amount of free agents that are going to be out there. Quality free agents are going to be out there. Who's the next big name as far as, you think is going to get cut because of the salary cap and become a salary cap casualty?
Well, there's so many players that are going to be cut. And I think from free agency, Barrett, as a whole, you're going to see a lot of one-year deals because you're going to see guys wanting to sign for short term and get back on the market when the salary cap goes back up. Mm-hmm. You mentioned that 180 million number. That's the floor. So it's probably going to be a little bit more than that. It's probably going to end up probably at 185. Some people have said even as high as 188. Last year it was 198.2. So this is the first year the NFL salary cap is going down. And it is. I mean, it's going to be veteran players, and they're going to be, whether it's on the street, whether it's traded, teams are going to be looking to dump salary in the short term. But I think long term, I think the smart players are going to sign one-year deals and say, okay, I'll play, I'll prove it, and then I'll get back on the market the next year and hopefully cash in. So I don't think it's going to be quite as bad as people think, because I think it's basically one or two more tough decisions than normal. You look at Deshaun Jackson already out there, you already knew he was getting released.
Right.
You already knew that was going to happen. And it's going to happen all over the league, but you're going to have that one or two more difficult decisions. I don't think it's going to be this catastrophe that some people are making it out to be.
One more, guys, looking at the Eagles cap specifically, there could be like $70 million in dead money applied to the Eagles cap by the time it's all over with. How can they compete with that much dead money being a cap? Because you got, Carson, you're going to have Alshon, you already have D-Jax. Malik Jackson. They don't even know if they're going to be able to sign back Barnett. How are they supposed to, fill the team with, that little cap space?
They're up against it. I mean, that's what they're doing. That's why Jeffrey Lurie's used this term transition. He doesn't want to use rebuild, but they're going to take their medicine this year. And the only way they're going to compete is to make good decisions basically everywhere. So that means hitting on draft picks. That means hitting on those one-year contracts that I just mentioned. If you think back to the Super Bowl year, the Chris Long types, the Patrick Robinson types, LeGarrette Blount, you got to hit on all those guys on the one-year prove-it deals. And let's be honest, since Super Bowl 52, they haven't made a lot of good decisions when it comes to draft picks. So it's hard to imagine this team hitting on 4 or 5 draft picks. But for them to get real good, real quick, that's what has to happen.
John, you'll be happy to know, probably reminded here in this case, since the old school rap connoisseur that you are, today is the anniversary, February 22nd, 1989, where DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince won the first rap Grammy.
First rap Grammy. I remember the outrage of that. Because
parents just don't understand.
Yeah. They wanted more hardcore rap to get it. But
Will Smith is not a hardcore rapper.
No. The first real rap feud was Kool Moe Dee versus LL Cool J. That was big back in the day.
An all-timer. Yes, an all-timer.
Now, who was the heel in that setup?
Kool Moe Dee.
That's a good question. Who was the heel? I mean, obviously, LL was more popular. So
Kool Moe Dee. Aton's probably right.
Well, you had the Bridge Wars too with MC Shan.
Oh yeah, MC Shan. You're right. Yeah.
And KRS-One and Shan. it's crazy because a lot of people didn't know who he was except for the Bridge Wars. And then you start to listen and you're like, wait a second, MC Shan is still. The problem with Shan is that he did that guest appearance on Informer with Snow. And I can never forgive him for that.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah.
With that war.
Yeah.
You're familiar with Informer, though, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's all you need to know.
Okay.
Boogie Down Productions.
Yeah. The KRS, only thing he had to live down was doing a remix with Puffy. That's fine. People do that. But MC Shan had to apologize for being on that track Informer. That's all. February 22nd, 1989, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. John McMullen was there.
Man,
you were covering that Grammys, weren't you?
Yeah, I do remember the outrage, though. Sadly, I do remember it.
Well, John, what number is Carson Wentz going to have to pick now that he's out in Indianapolis and Michael Pittman Jr. is not giving up number 11?
How the mighty have fallen. Carson Wentz can't get 11 from Michael Pittman.
Wow.
He's a good player.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good player, but he's coming off a rookie season. I mean,
right.
Come on.
He had 1 touchdown last year.
He can at least pay. He can pay him for it. I mean, I remember guys, paid for numbers. They come from a different team. One guy I played with, he got like a $10,000 from a veteran player that came in. He bought his number, $10,000.
I don't know. I'm just thinking to myself, if Phillip Rivers was coming in and he wanted number 11 from Michael Pittman, I think he gives it up.
Absolutely.
Carson has taken so many hits. He's like, who? Carson Wentz? No, I'm not giving up 11. That might be the biggest insult to this point. Forget about the second round.
Yes. That is a diss.
Michael Pittman putting his foot down.
All right, hold on a sec. We got a break. We'll wrap the hour coming up next. It's The Middle, phillyvoice.com/The Middle and Sports Map Radio. I mean, this guy chose Indianapolis of all places, right?
Yeah.
And said, I want to play there to get out of all the problems in Philly. And he's got a problem before he even steps foot in the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just, I mean, obviously it's not a big problem. It's tongue in cheek, but it is kind of surprising that somebody like Michael Pittman would feel comfortable.
Right.
Saying, oh, we're getting a new quarterback. Nah, I'm going to keep it.
I'm the real number 11. Forget that. That would be, what would be even greater is if Carson asked to wear number 18.
Oh,
that would be awesome.
Oh, my goodness. Oh,
do they have that retired?
I mean, if not, it's got to be
No question.
very
No question.
sacred.
One
Right?
of my favorite NFL quotes, I think it's number 2 of all time, is Tom Moore, and it involves the number 18. Some guy asked him, why don't you rep more with the backup quarterback, whoever it would have been at that time, Jim Sorgi or something. And Tom Moore looked at him like he was crazy and said, if 18 gets hurt, we're bleeped. And we don't practice bleeped.
Right. Yeah, they were.
Got it.
He's right.
That's absolutely right.
That's how
man.
they got luck. I mean, it was just so fortuitous to have that crappy of a year, the year that he's available at the top of the draft.
Yeah, you don't. You look at everything in the NFL, and how Carson, how the things have changed with Carson. You look at Tampa Bay; they got like 30-something million under the cap right now, so they got some buying power, some room to move. I think at this point they still stay atop the division number. I mean, not the division, but the NFC at this point. But they still got another run at going and getting some more people, some more weapons on that team, and become, a mainstay in that division again, as far as winning it all.
Tom Brady, I keep saying, at some point, the decline has to start. Yeah. When does it start? We if you think about Peyton Manning, 2 years before Peyton Manning was shot physically was that 50 touchdown season where they scored 600 points. So when it does happen, it's going to happen quickly.
Right. It's precipitous, the drop.
But if Tom's Tom, they're going to be great again.
Isn't Tom Moore on that staff? Speaking of Tom Moore, I thought I saw him on the sideline during the Super Bowl.
Still coaching. He's 150.
He's got to be about 100 years old.
Yeah. He's awesome.
Yeah.
We haven't heard much about the Eagles head coach or anything what's going on in the organization.
True.
When are we going to hear about, what decisions they're going to be making?
Well, he's got to sit in the background until he's given approval to speak. And obviously he's not making the decisions. Like, poor Nick Sirianni.
Hold on.
You're listening to The Minute on the Sports Map Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eitan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
All right, we've got overtime coming your way coming up in 3 minutes. John's still hanging with us as we wrap this hour here. You guys were talking about something with the Eagles related.
Something that was that's
Sirianni,
huge, man.
Yeah,
the head coach hasn't said anything yet lately.
I got to be honest with you guys. I have zero interest in Nick Sirianni. Zero.
Yeah, I can see why.
Like absolutely zero interest. I'm not rooting for him to fail, but I'm not rooting for him to succeed either. Like
there's no sizzle there at all.
I couldn't care less if this guy did what that idiot in Jacksonville did and offered his resignation tomorrow. It wouldn't change my life. Now, Barrett, you're asking a relevant question. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying for me personally, like I feel like everybody on this coaching staff now is just there and is a result of a pawn or just like a pawn in how I feel about this team. And they're the remnants of it. That's it.
Is that because of the GM, or is that because of just what they have to offer, period? Because we really don't know what they have to offer.
Well, I think it's a combination, right? I think it's a combination of the GM and how things have been run here, and that they did have guys intact who are successful that are gone either on their own doing or not. And also, too, and it's a combination, is there isn't any sizzle behind this guy's name. So if there were more sizzle behind his name, then maybe I wouldn't care so much about how crappy the organization is run, I guess.
Or maybe
the same thing about Andy Reid.
Well, hopefully he hears this, Eitan, and next time he'll have sizzle on his notes.
I'm sure.
But
that's the thing is, I don't care what he has on his notes.
Sizzle.
I don't care.
Well, Andy
I
Reid,
don't care what he says.
Andy Reid at least was associated with Brett Favre when he came here, but this guy's associated with IUP. You know what I mean? No disrespect to the PSAC.
Rivalry. The IUP East Stroudsburg rivalry.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Is in the IUP Westchester rivalry. It doesn't get
Slippery Rock. Don't
Slippery
leave out
Rock.
Slippery Rock.
Oh, no question.
Yeah.
Doesn't get much.
Stony Brook,
And Clarion.
Clarion.
Yeah.
I thought Clarion was a brand of hotels.
It is.
All
It's
right.
also a good wrestling school. They got a good
Yeah,
wrestling
Kurt
team.
Angle.
Yeah.
Clarion.
That's
Kurt
right.
Angle.
See?
He always comes back to wrestling. All right,
Exactly.
we're
You
going
see
overtime.
what we did there?
Yeah.
An Olympian. Hey,
See,
Tom.
John. Yes. Thank you for
Olympic
reminding me.
gold medalist.
We got to have a
Wrestlers
wrestling
are
Fucking
segment.
athletes.
freaking
Yeah.
neck.
Overtime next.
Are you looking for a place to track your action, purchase picks, and share your sports betting analysis with the gambling community? Check out Bookit Sports, a social media platform with an unparalleled experience catered for the sports betting community. On the Bookit Sports app, you can track all your NFL, NBA, and college basketball picks while getting real-time updates and injury reports all in one convenient place. Start building your following today and stand out amongst your friends by downloading the Bookit Sports app on the Apple and Google Play stores. Let's cash some tickets and put it on Bookit.
All right, it's overtime each and every day here. PhillyVoice.com/the middle, brought to you by Bookit. Great people at Bookit Sports. Bookit HQ on Twitter. John's hanging out for a couple of minutes, and we continue. Unless there was something new. I don't think that there was anything new that we had for this, right?
It's
No.
always something new, man. It is. I mean, come on, man. We're talking about an organization right now that's in shambles. I mean, at what point do we find a way in which Howie is accountable for everything that's happening right now?
Well, it's not us finding it. That's the owner's job
Yeah, that's
to
the
find it.
Chris
Really?
even Chris Long said the building is burning down. So
Yeah.
that probably got some people's attention. But yeah, everybody wants Howie out. I wrote about that on Philly Voice today. I mean, I think what people don't recognize is he's sort of Jeffrey Lurie's lightning rod. Nobody puts any attention on Jeffrey Lurie, and they all want Howie Roseman out. And look, they've made a lot of bad decisions, but ultimately, who fired the head coach? It wasn't Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman was planning on running it back with Doug Peterson. That was Jeffrey Lurie's decision. And ultimately, who decided to pull the plug on Carson Wentz, whether you agree with it or not, Howie Roseman can't approve $34 million in dead money. Only one guy can.
Right.
So, I mean, in a lot of ways, the only way you're getting Howie Roseman out of here, as I said, is if Nick Sirianni fails. So it's counterintuitive. But if Eagles fans really want him out of there, they have to hope this team is terrible. It's the only way it's going to happen.
How many years in a row?
I think just one. I think if they win 3-13, I don't think it's sustainable.
You don't think that he's going to find a way to come back and convince Jeffrey Lurie that it was just the first year and that Doug and Andy and Chip and Chip not so much, but people struggle in their first year. And come on, Jeff, let's just go one more time. The rebuild, we're almost there for the rebuild. You can't see some sort of crazy story like that coming out of his mouth.
I could see it if, say, they draft Justin Fields. Then you could spin it. Like, this guy's really talented.
Yeah.
John, if they take a quarterback at 6, Roseman ain't going anywhere for the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Then you can kind of spin it. If you pass on a quarterback, and Jalen Hurts is terrible, and you win 3 games, I don't think it's sustainable.
Then you go.
Man. Yeah.
Then they go draft their quarterback, the kid. What's his name? Shao from Oregon, or Slovis from USC, Sam Howell from UNC. Yeah. They'll be at the top.
Right back up at the top of the draft, so you can do it again. But yeah, then I think 2 seasons in a row, and just the way Jeffrey's been going, he's just, ever since they won Super Bowl 52, he's just been scapegoating people left and right. At some point, it'll end on Roseman. Remember, he fired him once. He didn't technically fire him and left the building.
Right.
But he took everything he loved away from him. Everybody's got a shelf life. Andy had a shelf life. Howie's shelf life is longer than everybody else's, but he's got a shelf life. Everybody does.
Yeah, I just don't see it, man. I mean, at this point, they have nothing. There's no way this year this team could be any good with, they're already up against us. Like you said, we got about $70 million worth of dead money at the cap. Then that's leaves, a little over $100 million to field a team. I mean, to me, I just don't see it as being a possible anything possible for this team to be anything but bad. They'll be picking right around 3, 4, or 5 next year simply because they don't have the resources to do it. They'll be just like a New England last year. That's what I feel. A New England.
Well, there's two ways they could be okay. Not great, but okay. Jalen Hurts plays well. And the offensive line, Lane Johnson is healthy for 16 games. Brandon Brooks is healthy for 16 games. They convinced Jason Kelsey to come back. He plays 16 games.
Run the ball.
And then the second part is the bad division. You have a bad division. You have a good offensive line, a quarterback playing well. You could win 9 games and sneak out a playoff.
Yeah, but Dallas with their quarterback back, and Washington football team with that defense, if they get a quarterback,
it's getting better. It's getting better, but
even the Giants are not like just
they get their running back.
They get Saquon back.
This division, John McMullen, I don't know if it's as bad as you think.
It's getting better, except for the Eagles on paper.
Well, the Eagles are right. They're the worst.
They're what make it bad.
Pulling it down.
Right.
The Miami Marlins of the NFC East right now. No matter.
I mean, I like Washington's defensive line. I think it's tremendous. But
absolutely,
as we're sitting here today, Taylor Heineke is their starting quarterback.
Correct.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the New York Giants.
We can't say that right now. We can't say that.
No, that's what I'm saying. They'll get somebody else.
What do you think Washington does? Do you think Washington makes a trade? Do you think Washington drafts a young kid? Do you think Washington looks and says, we might be the perfect landing spot for a guy like Sam Darnold, where we're not locked in, but we still have a young guy we can work with?
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, well, I do think they want to. I mean, they have a veteran backup, and we'll see what happens with Alex Smith. Or Heineke proves some things as a potential backup quarterback. I think they're fine with a backup, so they need a younger player with some upside. Yeah, I think Darnold would be perfect for them. I think he'd be perfect for Chicago. But a lot of my Sam Darnold love is tied to Adam Gase because I think so poorly of Adam Gase. I still think Sam Darnold has potential, but on the other hand, he could have ruined him. You have to throw that into the equation as well.
That is true.
Fair enough. Just curious here. You got any winners tonight? Any picks? Any shows to watch?
Monday Night Raw tonight.
Oh,
yeah. There's a new movie on Netflix with Rosamund Pike.
Yeah.
What's
it called?
I Care Too Much.
Rosamund Pike.
I Care Too Much, I think is what it's called. It is a
lot.
really, really disturbing grift in that movie. But she's tremendous in it. I recommend everybody watch.
A shady legal guardian lands in hot water when she tries to bilk. That's a term that's not used often in.
That's a good word, bilk.
Yeah, when she tries to bilk a woman who has ties to a powerful gangster.
Who is Peter Dinklage, the gangster.
Oh, nice. The guy from Game of Thrones, the little guy.
Yeah.
I saw that. That is an incredible movie.
Yes.
I just saw it.
Well, Rosamund Pike, she was in Gone Girl.
Yes.
That's where I remember her from. Yeah.
And that Gone Girl actually presents a bunch of problems for me.
Why is that?
Well, because of who's in it.
Oh yeah, well Ben Affleck, it's tough. Yeah,
right. I had to do. It was difficult. Like,
still a good movie.
Yeah, I hate watched it though. I get
too.
Yeah,
every once in a while, you know what? The Town is also really good, and Affleck's in that as well.
Yeah, I hate watched that as well.
I didn't see it because it just didn't make the cut. Like I was visibly upset as I was sitting in my seat watching Gone Girl because every time Ben Affleck was on the screen, it gave me agita.
I would give Ben Affleck the same treatment that little camper kid gave Cam Newton.
Yeah, me too. I'm with.
Good.
If I saw Ben Affleck walking down the street.
Yeah.
How about that idiot kid representing the 215?
The 215. Yeah.
All under the bus.
Come on, man. That's what I said. It couldn't have been me, man. It couldn't be me because who are you talking to?
Yeah.
I'm like, who are you? Who the hell are you talking? Where your dad? I'm gonna beat your daddy up for this. They'd have heard me say that.
Anytime you and I want to get some publicity for this show, you and I need to hunt down Ben Affleck and find him and do it.
I don't know where he is. He
That would
doesn't
get on
show up anymore.
TMZ.
Yeah, absolutely
would.
right.
Yeah.
I definitely, man. Then we can sue Affleck for him starting the whole thing. It was his ugly, nasty ass that caused my anger.
Right.
Where are we in this? Where are we in this generation? We got kids ripping Cam Newton, a Heisman Trophy winner,
Right.
#1 overall pick in the draft, made the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We got Harry Mays and Eitan Shander just ripping Ben Affleck. Won't watch The Town. Everybody's in The Town,
Yeah.
Eitan. You gotta look at the other people.
Ben
you gotta
Affleck.
watch that thing.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Is there a way that you can take like all the great editing that is done on YouTube and you're telling me that nobody has gone through that movie and just edited out
Mm-hmm.
Ben Affleck so I can watch the edited version of The Town to where
Yeah.
it's basically The Town minus Ben Affleck.
Yeah,
I'm
sans
the movie would
Affleck.
still work, right?
That would be great.
John, you got to watch yourself with these guys. You got to watch yourself with these guys. You'll find yourself not watching something just because he said
No,
that.
no.
Look, if you want to try
He's
this,
already doing the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon with poor Rosamund Pike when she was in Gone Girl.
no,
Yeah.
Watch the new movie. Watch the new movie.
I know who Rosamund Pike is because I watched Gone Girl because I suspended my don't watch list for that movie because I heard it was such a great movie, which it is, and I respect the screenplay and the cinematography and the plot and everything that comes with it. I'm just telling you that I it's very difficult to do Ben Affleck on anything. Casey Affleck, I'm good. Sign me up.
Yeah. What is
Now,
the new?
okay, well, what about what is the one with it's not Gone Girl, but it's got Gone in the
Baby
title.
Gone.
Baby, yes. With Casey Affleck, but I believe
Gone, Baby
Ben
Gone.
Affleck produced that or directed it. One
But
or
he
Probably.
wasn't in it.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's
As long
why
as he
I watched
wasn't in it.
It
As long as I
wasn't.
didn't have to look at that wooden face. I can't
I tell you,
stand him.
I would love to just take one shot at that face.
Yeah, I know.
With a crowbar.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
Yeah,
now
I'm with
see,
you.
You don't want to see The Town because Affleck is ripped in that. He's playing like a gangster. So at that point, he could probably take you.
not with a gun. It's the great equalizer.
You got to
All
go to DVSC.
I'm telling you, I'll leave you with this. All right. If anybody is familiar with the show The Office, I do this all the time when I watch The Office. Fast forward every time BJ Novak or Mindy Kaling are on the screen, and the show is 10 times funnier than it is.
Can't
I
stand Mindy Kaling. I'm
Both
with
of them
you.
are they're not funny. They're not. I'm telling you, I've got a process for all this. All right. Just
All right.
Yeah.
pay attention to this. All right, we're out of here. Anything
All
else before we get out of here?
So it's I Care a
That's
Lot is
it.
the name of the movie.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
All right, that does it for us. Thanks to everybody at Bookit. Thanks to you. We're back on what's tomorrow?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Only Tuesday.
Mercedes.
Oh, jeez.
Yes.
Thanks, John.
See you guys.
Are you looking for a place to track your action, purchase picks, and share your sports betting analysis with the gambling community? Check out Bookit Sports, a social media platform with an unparalleled experience catered for the sports betting community. On the Bookit Sports app, you can track all your NFL, NBA, and college basketball picks while getting real-time updates and injury reports all in one convenient place. Start building your following today and stand out amongst your friends by downloading the Bookit Sports app on the Apple and Google Play stores. Let's cash some tickets and put it on Bookit.